Welcome back, everybody. It's D with Dstacklebox, and man, we're happy to be back with you guys. And now we're a little bit more stocked as far as that goes when it comes to older lures and things like that. Both the ones that we sell and the ones that we collect and the ones that we inform you about. It's always fun to be able to sit down here and talk lures with you guys. So I appreciate y'all hanging around. So for now, let's get right into this because we got some really cool lures that I am not sure if y'all guys have seen before. Some of y'all might have, even added these to your collection. Some of y'all might not have seen any of these in your whole life of fishing. So let's get right into it, and I'll show y'all a couple of different models that I found kind of interesting. As far as the common thing that we usually use for topwater stuff is, the well-known Zara spooks and jitterbugs, and nowadays they got a bunch of modern type lures. There's Strike King making some cool topwater stuff. Heddon just released a new topwater lure in the Whopper Plopper style, but also Whopper Plopper has had that weird looking tail spinning thing for a good while. So those are all more of the modern type lures when it comes to topwater fishing. But I'm going to show y'all something here today, and if you've seen these before, great. If you haven't, you're going to see some pretty cool, interesting older lures that have inspired today's models of lures. And so with that in mind, let me get right into it, and I'll show y'all our first one because it's a small lure. A lot of people collect these and make these part of their collections just because they don't take up so much space. Which ones are we talking about? These little bitty tiny topwater lures are called Fishing Fools Little Arty. And so this lure right here comes from the company named Falls Bait Company, and I believe that is out of Wisconsin somewhere. And this lure right here, if you notice, look at the way it's built. The metal flap or lip or bill or whatever you want to call it. When you take a look at this thing, you can notice that the line tie is placed right at the center of that. So when this guy is being pulled on the water, these two flaps or pieces of the topwater lip there act as a propeller that pulls the water one way and then the other, one way and then the other. So you might recognize that action from something more commonly fished as a crazy crawler maybe. So this right here, I think these were probably early 50s if I'm not mistaken. There's got to be a collector out there that probably knows a lot more about these than I do, because I don't collect these at all. The only reason we have this one is because of the frog pattern. But I wanted to show y'all a very early design that is still being used right now with the topwater lip theme like this. So here is your Fishing Fools Little Arty, and we're going to move right on to the next one that kind of looks similar to that one. This, for you guys that know these, is the Msite. What's the name of this one here? It's a Msite lure, but I can't remember the name of the actual model of this lure. I know it's a Msite bug or beetle or something like that. But this one has, if you notice, the same line tie hole right there in the middle, but it no longer has that concave piece there in the center. Now it has these holes on these lips. So this is another style. This one is really flat. You can see the lip right here. I mean the bill or whatever you want to call it. The piece here in the front, the shovel, has a flat, not curved like this one here. You see that? This one here, you can tell, has the curves on both sides of the lip there, and it embraces the curve of the chin right there on the lure. I'll bring it up closer and see if we can get this camera to stop focusing this way and show you here. That's the angle there. On the other one, the Msite, we're getting no angle, flat as can be. So these would be two very similar but different, I'm thinking, actions on the water. So this one with the holes on here, obviously they're at an angle, so it's probably grabbing the water and pulling, or I guess that was the design, to pull the water through here and therefore create a tight little wobble there. This one's your Msite brand. This guy here, oh man, this one is Falls Bait Company out of Wisconsin. The Msite one, I'm not sure. I haven't researched all the info about where they're from and all that good stuff because I don't collect those. But I do run into them from time to time. And again, frog pattern, that's my boy's lure right there. We wanted to show y'all a couple of different ones that I guess everybody inspired everybody back in the days, because if you notice, Cordell, Garcia, there's a couple of other lures that were made around the same time that were all about like the same shapes and stuff, like the Big O. There's a bunch of lures out there that look like the Cordell Big O. Then again, there's a bunch of lures that look like the Head and Torpedo, or maybe the Head and Torpedo looks like a bunch of other different lures, because there's a lot of earlier lures that were made out of wood that actually inspired some of these designs for the companies that actually made it nowadays. So let's move on to the next one here. We did mention the Big O, and part of that, Mr. Cotton Cordell, the maker of those, also inspired this one here. This one here is your Cotton Cordell Loudmouth, and this has no metal lip here on the lure, but it does have a semi-curved mouth there, and you can see the way that it's built. It's supposed to, I guess, hit the water here and splash it to both sides. I'm assuming that's what these angles on the curves are for. But I haven't tried this fishing lure, and I'm dying to put it out there in the water. It's got a nice propeller that obviously makes a little bit of a racket, right? And so with this lure, you got a couple of different features all in one. First of all, it has one of those older single lead knocker type rattles inside of it, so that already creates a little bit of commotion. But then you got the propeller on the back, which I'm assuming when the lure is being pulled or dragged or whatever, this straightens out so that we can actually spin that propeller. But I can see that being a problem, you know, if it's not moving fast enough. The other thing about it, so I guess it's the mouth making the gurgling action, popping type of noise, the rattle, and then the propeller. So all these three things combined make the Cotton Cordell Loudmouth an ideal candidate for that nighttime fishing and spotting those hungry bass that are silent stalkers. So this is your Cordell Loudmouth, and you can see right there. You can see the name right there. Right? See? So this one, no metal lip, no metal bill or nothing like that on it. Just the body itself is made into that lure. Then we're gonna go with and that one, let me see, we said Wisconsin on one. I don't remember the Msite one. This one comes out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. So this is our neighboring state here. So we found about 3 of those together at one point. The next one that we wanted to talk to you guys about is one that looks very similar to the Arbogast Jitterbug. That would be this little booger right here called the Skipper. And now I don't remember if the company name, it's Home Arts, I believe that's the way you pronounce it. And so they were making these at almost exactly the same time that Mr. Fred Arbogast was making the Jitterbug. See, there's a Jitterbug and there's your Skipper. Although they look similar, they are very different. And I'm sure one inspired the other when they were being made. And I'm sure it was a race against time to, you know, patent whatever design you were putting out back then, because there was a lot of companies doing the same thing. This Cordell has the closed bill. No features, no holes in it, no nothing. This one here, I'm assuming that these holes are meant to create air bubbles and kind of leave a trail or splash the water, make a little bit of a louder ruckus when it's flopping over the water top. So this one here, guys, I'm pretty sure is not as common as a jitterbug, because I'm almost positive that the colors that they came in and things like that were not very varied. So if you guys have more information on these skippers, or if somebody collects these, let me know. This one's for sale, by the way. I think I have it on eBay. If not, and you guys see it and you want it, let me know. I'll hook y'all up. And so these right here, you can see the nose again, the tie, the line tie right there. It's in the middle of the nose again, kind of like the first one that we saw here. That false bait. There. See that? So once again, I always think, I wonder if these guys saw something designed kind of similar and then just decided, you know what, let's do it a little bit different. Because now you're looking at almost the same setup as far as the bill goes, right? The curve and everything, but with a little bit of an inspiration of the cut pieces on the bill there. So now we got 3 different looking types there, right? Along with the Jitterbug, which has a solid piece. Now, I personally prefer this one because I like the action. I've tried it. I've tried this one here and an old one that I had, and I didn't see much difference from the action as far as that goes. But I did see a little bit more of the bubbles coming up every time it splashed the water. So I don't know. Maybe that might help it have an edge on the other lures in your tackle box at that moment. Now, after that, we did talk about the jitterbugs a little bit, but Fred Arbogast became famous for a lot of this fishing lure topwater game that they had. I mean, they had a lot of lures that had to do with topwater stuff and soft lures and crankbaits and all kinds of different lures. You just can't explain how the inspiration came across for each model, because there's a wide array of different models that you can pick up when it comes to Fred Arbogast. Now, if you notice, look, we have this one here. This is a gold chrome jitterbug, by the way, a 5/8 of an ounce jitterbug. And he also made us a, for those of y'all that like a little bit more rackety racket, a jointed jitterbug. And I believe, yeah, they're both silent. No rattles, but I'm sure that this piece in the back makes a little clacking noise or something when it's swimming. And that might be just what you need for those bass that are just a little bit iffy about coming out and hitting that lure right about now. So, guys, we got a couple more to show you. Here is a, this one here is very interesting. Some of y'all might recognize this, some of y'all might not know what in the world this is. Got a lot going on this one. So you can see the bill, you can see the line tie again centered there, but you can also see how it's connected to the body. So this is serving as your, let me see, this right here is serving as the holder or the pin for not only the prop to be able to have that loose action there, but to hold it onto the body. Interesting design. I think I would have put something more like just a screw or whatever there with the washer in the back to hold it in place, and that way you don't have to worry about this piece here, because I see that stops, and I guess they keep it from going around in circles, but I don't know, man. This one here is from Jack's Tackle, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they had other models of lures. They were not very like, they didn't last a long time producing lures. This one was a wooden one. I believe they had some in plastic, but this is your what's it called, Jack's Rip L lure. Rip L lure, almost like Ripple, Rip L lure. So this is a jointed one made out of wood. I don't know exactly what years they were made, probably 40s, 50s, but pretty cool old lure. Look at that. You can see the wood showing right there where it's been, paint's kind of worn out. But these guys are not they're not as common to find, and if you find one in really good condition or with the box, I mean, that's a pretty cool find. Because a lot of the ones that I've picked up, or I think we've picked up like 2 or 3 the last couple of years, have been kind of beat up like that, or not stored correctly, or whatever, you know. So again, that one comes from Oklahoma. So we have a Wisconsin lure, a Arkansas lure, 2 Arkansas, 3 Arkansas lures, 1 from Ohio, and that one's from Oklahoma. But we also go all the way up north and get us some of the 1940s head and crazy crawler. And I know you guys love the head and crazy crawler stuff because I've seen y'all's comments on here. This one here, I am not sure if it's missing another piece of hardware that goes here to make it a 2-piece hardware, or if this is the way this one goes, but I'm almost positive. This is the way I found it. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus. This is the way I found it. You see there's no other marks or signs of anything missing, but I know that there's some lures that have the other piece that goes around there, kind of like a 2-piece hardware. So we're gonna see what the other ones that we have look like. This is your crazy crawler in the bullfrog pattern and made out of wood. Now that's 1940s, right? 1950s brought 1960s and 50s and 60s, mid 50s, 60s brought the plastic. Now there's, I think I did a video about these before, the difference in the hardware. Here's a pin that's holding that sucker down and the wing and all that. And by this time they were making them almost a 1-piece wing setup with just a pin there that holds it in place. So we've already been over these when we talked about the head and stuff. But guys, this head and crazy crawler action on top of the water, plop, 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 plop. Between this and the Jitterbug, that's pretty much all we ever use, because that's pretty much all we need for making that racket on the top of the water. But you got to see some interesting lures here that have to do with other years prior to some of the ones that we already know. So by all means, take your time to do your research when you're out there seeking new lures to add to your collection. Some of these I hadn't seen before, like that Jack's lure before. I had never seen that one. I ran across it and I picked one up, I fished it. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one that, I think that came in a green color too, because I remember, or a black color. But that one right there, and the other ones, the Msite, the Falls, and the Skipper, I have not fished those. Now on the other hand, we did have a bunch of topwater lures that were not you know, fixed with lips and molded plastic lips or things like that, and that became part of our fishing staple because a lot of those lipless topwater lures actually work. And just as a bonus here, I know we talked about topwater lures and I wanted to keep y'all informed when it comes to those, but then we're going to be moving on to a couple of other models, and we're going to cover more lures throughout this year so that we can get a variety of them out there, so that we can explain the different features. And a lot of times we get to conversate with people in messages and stuff about the history of them. I've met some people that were involved with the companies, I've met people that work with the companies, and so it's pretty cool and awesome to be able to get that type of feedback from you guys, and we appreciate that. Now, as a little bonus here, just wanted to show y'all this lure and see if you guys know what that one is. No lip, no funny front face metal thing, nothing. It's still a topwater lure. And it has a really cool vibration. This is your Whopper Stopper Throbber, and this guy has a really cool spring-loaded action inside, and that action creates a little bit of a vibration when it's sitting out there. After you cast it, It sits there and it vibrates until it wears off. And I've seen it in the water before where the ripples just kind of sit around it. So pretty cool, interesting lure. Whopper Stopper Throbber came in a couple of different colors. More than a dozen colors right now so far that I know. And at one point in time, Head-In bought this lure and then boxed it up under their boxes and sold it as a Head-In Throbber. So just a little piece of information there for you guys that like to follow those type of things. If you guys have not signed up or subscribed with our channel, do so. That'll help us keep moving right along, and you know, we want to be able to provide videos for you guys for the rest of this time that we're here, not just for info and you know, just pictures and stuff, but also to encourage you guys to be able to pick up a hobby that's you know, it's something that keeps you focused on other things. You know, it helps you maintain a good relationship with your family and friends, and fishing is always good. So you guys stay tuned for the next one. I do appreciate all of y'all that follow us and those that are subscribed. Please like and share our videos. Until next time, this is D signing off. Fish out.